Gas is finally cooling off. In fact, prices at the pump are down almost 10% compared to last year. That's a big relief for anyone filling up their tank. But here's the catch. While you might be saving a little on gas, your rent is probably higher than ever. Shelter costs have jumped nearly 4%, electricity is up more than 5%, and natural gas is up almost 14%. So the big question is, why is one part of life getting cheaper while another keeps getting more expensive? Today, we're breaking it down in plain English so you can finally make sense of it. Let's start with the gas story, because that's the good news. Gasoline prices can swing wildly, sometimes up, sometimes down, depending on global oil markets. When oil production increases or demand falls, prices at the pump go down. That's what's happening now. More supply, less demand, and boom, prices are falling. You probably feel this right away. If you drive a lot, lower gas prices mean you're spending less every week. For example, if you used to pay $60 to fill your tank, and now it's $55, that's $5 saved each time. Over a month, that's maybe 20 or 30 bucks back in your pocket. It's not life-changing money, but it helps. And because gas is something people buy so often, we notice price changes quickly. But here's the frustrating part. While gas prices move quickly, housing costs, things like rent and electricity, move slowly and almost always in one direction, up. That's where the pain is right now. So, why are rents rising? There are a few key reasons. First, demand. More people are renting because buying a home has become so expensive. Mortgage rates are high, home prices are high, and that pushes people who might have bought a house into the rental market instead. More renters means more demand, and more demand means landlords can charge higher rents. Second, supply. Building new apartments takes years. Even when developers plan new housing, it doesn't appear overnight. Meanwhile, people need places to live now. That mismatch, lots of renters chasing limited units, drives prices up. Third, costs for landlords. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities have all gone up. When landlords face higher costs, they often pass those costs on to tenants in the form of higher rent. So while gas prices drop in a matter of weeks, rents climb slowly but surely, and they rarely go down once they've gone up. That's why your wallet still feels squeezed even if you're spending a little less at the pump. Now let's talk about electricity and natural gas. Electricity is up more than 5%, natural gas almost 14%. Why? Because utilities face their own rising costs. Fuel for power plants can get expensive, infrastructure repairs cost money, and like landlords, utility companies pass those costs directly to customers. Unlike gas for your car, you can't just decide to skip electricity for a week to save money. You need lights, heating, and internet. That makes energy bills what economists call inelastic. In plain English, that just means you don't have much choice. You have to pay it no matter what. And because demand for energy doesn't drop much even when prices go up, utilities don't face the same pressure to lower rates when costs fall. So let's zoom out. Inflation as a whole is slowing. Prices for some things are stabilizing. But the categories people can't live without, like rent, electricity, and natural gas, are still going up. That creates the weird situation we're in now. Good news at the pump, bad news at home. Here's the part that trips people up. When you hear inflation is cooling, you expect life to feel cheaper. But averages can hide the pain. If gas falls 10%, but rent rises 4%, the average looks okay. But if you rent an apartment and don't drive much, you don't feel any relief. On the other hand, if you drive a lot but your landlord hasn't raised rent yet, you might actually feel better off. That's why inflation is tricky. It's not the same for everyone. Let me tell you a quick story. Imagine two friends, Sarah and Mike. Sarah lives in the city, rents a small apartment, and mostly takes public transportation. Mike lives in the suburbs, owns a car, and drives to work every day. When gas prices drop 10%, Mike feels the savings immediately. He's spending 30 bucks less each month. But Sarah doesn't care about gas. What she notices is her landlord raising rent by $80 and her electricity bill climbing by 10. Sarah is worse off, even though inflation looks better in the headlines. This is the reality behind the numbers. Everyone experiences inflation differently depending on what they spend money on. So what can you do about it? Let's talk solutions. First, on rent. If your lease is ending, don't just accept the increase your landlord proposes. Negotiate. Show them you're a reliable tenant who pays on time. Sometimes landlords would rather keep a good tenant than risk months of vacancy. If you can, consider moving to a less expensive area or even downsizing. It's not fun, but sometimes it's the only way to control housing costs. Second, utilities. Energy efficiency can save you more than you think. Simple changes like switching to LED bulbs, unplugging devices when not in use, or sealing drafts around windows can cut your bill by 10% or more. In some places, you can also shop for electricity providers or join community solar programs to lower your rate. Third, budgeting. If gas is cheaper, don't just spend the extra money elsewhere. Set it aside to offset the higher rent or utility bills. Treat the savings like a cushion. That way, you're using the good news in one category to balance out the bad news in another. And here's another tip. Pay attention to local programs. Some cities and states offer rent assistance, energy credits, or subsidies for lower-income households. A lot of people don't realize these exist, but they can provide real relief. It's worth checking your local government's website or even calling your utility provider to ask what programs you qualify for. Now let's bust a myth. Some people think landlords are just being greedy, and sure, some are. But in many cases, rising rent is a chain reaction. Property taxes go up, and insurance premiums rise, repair costs climb, and landlords pass that on to tenants. That doesn't make it easier to pay, but it helps explain why rent rarely goes down. The same with utilities. Power companies don't just flip a switch and decide to raise prices. They have to deal with fuel costs, grid maintenance, storms knocking out power lines, and government regulations. The truth is, the cost of keeping the lights on is going up everywhere, not just for you. Let's come back to gas one more time, because it teaches us an important lesson about how prices behave. Gas prices are volatile. They can spike fast and drop fast. Rent and utilities, on the other hand, are sticky. They rise slowly, but almost never fall. That difference is why you feel relief at the pump but stress when you pay your landlord. And here's the kicker. When economists measure inflation, they know this. That's why they sometimes talk about headline inflation versus core inflation. Headline includes everything: gas, food, housing. Core takes out the volatile stuff like gas. Why? Because gas prices can change quickly and make the numbers swing up or down in ways that don't last. But rent and utilities, those stick around. They show the true long-term trend. So when you hear inflation is slowing, remember that might just mean gas is cheaper right now. It doesn't always mean your rent or your electricity bill is coming down. Let's imagine your household budget as a pie chart. Rent might take up 30 or 40%, utilities another 10%. Gas may be 5 or 10, depending on how much you drive. If gas drops 10%, that's a small slice of savings. But if rent goes up 4%, that's a huge chunk of your budget. That's why the relief feels lopsided. So where do we go from here? Housing is the real speed bump in inflation. Until rents stabilize, most people won't feel like life is getting cheaper. The good news is that new apartments are being built in many cities. Over time, more supply should help cool rents. But it takes years. In the meantime, people will continue to feel squeezed. Here's what you can do right now. Track your spending. Know exactly how much you're paying for rent, utilities, and gas each month. Awareness is the first step. Look for ways to cut energy waste at home. Even small changes add up. If you drive, use the gas savings wisely. Don't waste it. Apply it toward rent or bills. Talk to your landlord. Negotiation doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. At the end of the day, gas prices may be cooling off, but rent and utilities are the heavyweights in your budget. They're the speed bumps that slow down the good news. And while you can't control everything, you can make smart moves to soften the blow. So let me ask you, what's hurting your wallet more right now? Is it the rent, the power bill, or something else entirely? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how these price changes are affecting you. And if this video helped you understand what's going on, hit that like button, share it with a friend who's also complaining about rent, and subscribe for more clear, simple explanations about money and everyday life. Remember, inflation isn't just numbers on a page. It's the daily choices you have to make. And now you understand why gas is down, but rent is up. Until next time, stay informed, stay smart, and don't let those sneaky costs catch you by surprise.